Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A new accuser comes forward in the De La Salle hazing case.
Shocking claims. A local teacher accused of having sex with a former student starting when she was just a 7th grader.
A welfare check at a camper in Detroit sends 2 parents to jail, and now both are charged with child abuse. Detroit police say they found deplorable living conditions in that camper.
That was a week ago, but as investigators looked further into this case, there was cause to arrest the parents for child abuse. Today, the mother went before a judge. Local 4's Rod Maloney has the new developments in this troubling case.
Okay, now what's your name?
Gwendolyn Alexander.
29-year-old Gwendolyn Josephine Alexander of Detroit went before a judge today. Her attorney told the judge on top of having 3 children under the age of 7, Alexander is pregnant. She also cares for her parents, so she needs to be out on bond. She's charged first with torture, then 2 counts of second-degree child abuse, 2 counts of third-degree child abuse, allegedly for beating her 6-year-old son in front of another of her children, along with her fiancé. The judge's first concern was where the children are. Alexander said they're with her sister. The family lived in this camper on Berkshire Street with a tent-style canopy over the front door. When Detroit police made the arrest, a family member seemed baffled.
For you to just come by with no reason at all and snatch some kids out and make it seem like we're doing something wrong, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
But Detroit police were deeply concerned about several things. First, the rifle the family kept inside, the living conditions in general, apparent child neglect, and lastly, the stern physical discipline the parents allegedly favored. The arraignment judge entered a not guilty plea for Alexander, gave her a $50,000 bond with a 10% surety, and then ordered Alexander not to have any contact with her children or her sister caring for them. As of tonight, both Alexander and her fiancé remain in jail.
They have not been able to make their bond. Now, her fiance is Robert Scott, is the name that he's going by, at least right now, but it's really Aaron Scott, and he has a $75,000 cash bond that was given to him yesterday by the judge who arraigned him then. So he again remains behind bars along with Alexander. They will both have preliminary exams later on in February. It's likely there we will learn more and get better information about what precisely was going on inside that trailer. Reporting live downtown, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod, thanks.
A Northville school teacher is facing charges after allegations of sexual misconduct. 36-year-old Jason Dean is charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct. He's accused of having sex with a 14-year-old student at Cedar Crest Academy in Springfield Township back in 2010. Prosecutors say the sexual relationship spanned 2 years on school grounds, an apartment in Waterford, and on an airplane coming back from a class trip. He's set to be arraigned tomorrow in Waterford on 2 additional charges. We reached out to the academy where Dean worked. They sent us this statement that reads in part, Cedar Crest Academy had no knowledge of this situation until January 28, 2020. We believe there is no threat of safety to our current students and families.
A new accuser is coming forward in the Warren De La Salle hazing investigation. The father of a De La Salle football player contacted police saying his son was victimized during the alleged hazing incident, and both are willing to talk about it. This comes one day after the St. Clair County prosecutor declined to bring charges while chastising the school and the students involved for not cooperating. Warren Police Commissioner Bill Dwyer says school officials have an obligation to cooperate just like anyone else.
It's very disappointing, and I think something has to be done over at De La Salle. But it's tainted. It was tainted from the beginning because you have somebody running the school over there that is not cooperating with the prosecutor's office and is not cooperating with the Warren Police Department.
We have again reached out to Warren De La Salle President John Knight for comment, but have not heard anything back.
Customs and Border Patrol agents never know what they're going to encounter during their workday or what they're going to have to confiscate. Well, today we got to look at some of the items they found in 2019. Sean Lay is live with the story. And Sean, we're talking about everything from hard drugs to fake earbuds.
Everything. Kimberly, good evening to you here from the riverfront. Beautiful shot here. U.S. Customs and Border Protection really pulling back the curtain on everything that they're seizing with people trying to get into the country at ports of entry like the Ambassador Bridge right here behind me. The big picture to pay attention to here is all the fentanyl that they are seizing, deadly fentanyl.
We're on the job 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, looking for, everything from microscopic pests to, hundreds of pounds of opium to, potential national security threats.
Don't call them Border Patrol, it's U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And in 2019, agents caught a whopping 10 pounds of fentanyl, enough dosage to kill 1.5 million people. 600 pounds of cocaine and 13 pounds of methamphetamine at our local border checkpoints. The Detroit field office led the nation in unreported currency violations with over $7.8 million seized. And one person tried to smuggle in artifacts that belonged to another country. 5 jars of Egyptian mummy linens dating back to 305 to 330 BC. Artifacts back now where they belong. Today, Customs and Border Protection pulling back the curtain on all the illegal items people try to get in and out of our country. A bulk of it counterfeit items that people want to try to sell you. Anything from cheap AirPods to phony name brand makeup that could contain harmful chemicals. And then bad auto parts.
We seize a tremendous number of counterfeit airbags. So imagine an airbag in your car that's a counterfeit airbag. And so if you look at the impact of a counterfeit airbag, for example, a counterfeit airbag going off is like a bomb going off in your face.
Can you imagine that? Counterfeit airbags being seized at the bridge and in other ports of entry here in Metro Detroit in our area. Look, guys, the Kylie Jenner lip gloss that came through this, you don't know what's in it. It's coming from different places, completely counterfeit. Those AirPods, what do you call them, Kimberly? Airbuds, the AirPods that are out there, again, counterfeit. Also, though, on a serious note, more than 500 arrests, including several people that had warrants out for homicide. Back to you.
Yeah, quite an array of items there, Sean. We appreciate it. All right, let's turn our attention to the weather.
Yeah, if anybody was trying to smuggle in the sun, no questions asked. Come on over. Ben Bailey trying to find it for us.
Sean said they had everything. Clearly, he was wrong. They did not have everything because we don't have any sunshine. 31 is where we're at right now. Temperature's just a little bit cooler, but it was all kinds of clouds today. Tomorrow will be a little bit different. Even though we are cooler today, numbers going back to the 30s as we head into Thursday. Here comes some sun. That's going to be the motto tomorrow. Snow and rain again as we go into the weekend. We'll look at how much we're expecting, and we're coming in hot next week. Temperatures on their way up, and we'll look at that in just a few minutes.
The woman charged with second-degree murder in a deadly drunk driving crash more than 3 years ago learned her sentence today. She'll spend at least 17 years behind bars for the death of 65-year-old Pavlos Dion of Frazier. Larry Spruill with what Janelle Bailey had to say as she went before the judge today.
And no matter what amount of time that I give you, I can never, it's never going to restore life.
Bold words, but the honest truth from a local judge Wednesday morning, just moments before Janelle Bailey learned her fate. Bailey, wrapped up with chains, stood in front of the judge years after police said she hit and killed Pavlos Dion back in June of 2016 around 10:45 that night. Police said Bailey, driving a green Dodge Caravan, struck Dion's Chrysler Sebring at the traffic light at Chesterfield, just south of 10 Mile Road in East Point. Dion died at the scene. This is not Bailey's first DUI. This time she's charged with second-degree murder, DUI and operating while license suspended, causing death. Bailey was found guilty of all charges, and 4 years later of court hearings and appeals, she would face a judge for sentencing. But not before Bailey's son, Anthony Collier, and Bailey addressed the court.
Nobody wins right now. Everybody's at a loss. Your family lost a family member, and physically we're losing a family member as well.
First, I would like to apologize to the family and friends of Mr. Dion, as well as to my family and friends. This tragedy affected many lives, and I apologize for the pain I've caused.
Ma'am, it is the sentence of the court that you be sentenced to the Michigan Department of Corrections for a term of 204 months to 480 months with credit for 1,330 days served.
I'll see y'all all soon. I love all y'all.
And Bailey did tell the judge that she started drinking right after her mother passed away from cancer, but she did say that is not an excuse. We're live tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Yeah. All right, Larry, thanks.
President Trump's impeachment trial moving to a new phase today. Senators now asking questions to the president's lawyers and House impeachment managers. The main question surrounding the trial is if witnesses will be called following the New York Times report of a new book by former National Security Advisor John Bolton that supposedly details President Trump's alleged misuse of power. The question and answer portion of the trial continues tomorrow. Lester Holt and NBC Nightly News will have a full recap of today's proceedings and a look ahead to what's next. That's coming up at 6:30.
In less than an hour, Governor Whitmer is set to deliver her State of the State address.
And we know fixing the roads will be a central focus, but what else is on deck? Mara McDonald is live in Lansing with a little bit of a preview. Mara, good evening.
Kimberly, good evening. And yeah, we have an idea of what's coming up tonight. We know the governor is going to talk about education funding, revisiting that third grade reading law, dealing with distracted driving, trying to do something about high prescription drug costs. But make no mistake, roads, like last year, is going to be a central focus. The governor is going to go for round 2 on roads, and her new plan is to bond for millions necessary to fix it, a move she can make without approval from the Republican-led legislature, something Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey says he's ready to hear.
I consider that appropriate asset management process. Something that could have been done in the past, should be done in the future. And even if we had passed a big tax increase for gas for roads, this would still be an appropriate maneuver to do.
Back here live, so Shirkey not throwing stones at this idea. Let's see what he has to say and the rest of the legislators. Once the governor is finished with her address, I'm going to head into the Capitol. See you guys at 11. We're live in Lansing. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
We look forward to your recap at 11. Mara, thank you. Our live coverage of the State of the State address starts at 7 tonight right here on Local 4 and on our website at clickondetroit.com.
So to come here at 6, the new police chief who has some big shoes to fill.
Plus, Dr. McGeorge with important information on coronavirus. Hi, Doc.
Hey, guys. They're the big questions surrounding the coronavirus. Coming up, I'll have the answers to the concerns that I'm hearing most often, including the symptoms this virus does and does not cause.
A warning just in time for the Super Bowl. The $5 safety product you should have in any room with a TV tomorrow at 6 a.m.